Hey guys, how's it going? Caleb here. Hope you're doing well. Love ya. And I just wanted to make a video about this because this just sort of happened to me, and I'll try to relay the story as well as I can. Recently happened, but there's pretty many details. So anyway, I have some listing on a job search. Hold on, my kitten's scratching at me. Um, on a job website, and somebody contacted me through there. I don't think I had applied to their thing. I don't know how it works, but I think people people can find your listings as a job seeker, even if you didn't apply to them, because people have reached out to me through there. Anyway, um, so this guy was really nice, and he talked to me for a while, and then he said, "Hey, we have this presentation. See if you want to check in." So anytime there's a presentation, it's sort of a red flag. Uh, doesn't mean that it's a bad job, but it's usually like a pitch. Um, and usually a pitch means you're kind of being sold something or convinced of something, as opposed to just a straight normal interview where it's like, yeah, they ask you questions, you ask them questions, whatever. Um, so right off the bat, a little bit not sure, but I was like, yeah, I'll hear him out. And everybody was really happy, like, hey, I'm here, I'm doing this. And it's already a little bit of the vibe of sort of a pyramid scheme, MLM type thing. They weren't like way over the top, though. They seemed like a little grounded. And so I think it does kind of go in line with the level of scheme, I suppose you can say. And the word scheme doesn't necessarily mean something's bad, but it usually implies that. And I think, yeah, since basically what I'm saying is like what they're doing is this trash behind me, cover it up. What they're doing is not horrible, not the worst thing. I do think you can make legitimate money from uh, more trash. Um, from selling life insurance or selling, whatever. But since it is set up in an MLM format, there's really a lot of people trying to push to be toward the top, and the payment structure was not great. You got to keep, I think, less than half. I think it was like 45% of what you earned for the company. And so, I studied business administration and know that there's many costs that go into running an operation that you don't think of. So I get that, but even considering 45%, I don't know. To me, seemed a bit much. When one could go and sell themselves, just get some agreements with them. Well, I guess I don't know how easy that is, but I've heard that you can get agreements with sort of life insurance agency or life insurance places where they manage people's money for life insurance. I don't even know what it's called, but like whatever. Um, you could just go to them as an independent seller and just make an agreement with them, like, hey, if I get you these clients, I'll keep this percentage, you keep this percentage. And I think it should be a decent amount of the first year premiums. I'm just gonna guess like 80%. I guess I don't know, so I shouldn't say. But considering that the people at the highest level kept 100%, I'd say, yeah, you can get a good percentage of that for yourself if you're working independently. So anyway, Yeah, they're super not like crazy, but they're all positive, and um, it was all good until they seemed to be not really lying necessarily, but sort of obfuscating the truth. And I found a little bit of this in the presentation, but it was mostly just so from the bat. I wanted to help people with their finances and being an advisor, and that's what they said it was. But you can say it's sort of like that because they deal with annuities, but it's mostly not. And also, it's mostly not giving people like the most back for their money. It's just giving them like something to fall back on. They'll know that, which can be good and which can be fine and can be the best choice for some people. But I would rather give people all the options they could and give my opinion on what the best options are. Um, anyway, so the presentation was just like a lot of people from various places of the country, and then there was some people who worked there. So the people who worked there would give talk for a little while, and then they would ask people where they're from, and then they give this little presentation or whatever. I don't even remember. It must have not been very. I mean, I remember stuff about it, but I don't remember details. It was not very detail oriented. They just went over like pay structure and um, yeah, that you help people and things like this, and to have fun. I almost laughed out loud when I saw that. You're like, one thing you have to do if you work here, you have to have fun. So, all right, you're gonna fire me then? But if I don't have fun, um, so yeah, that was also a little bit of a kind of a what is this? But they were up until this interview that I had, they were like pretty straightforward and pretty helpful and honest and things. But then when I got to the interview, I think they're used to people kind of just going, "Yeah, this sounds good, let's go," or just like, what's a typical day for you like, or something like this, like. But I want to get down to the brass tacks of like, all right, why is the pay structure this way? And yeah, I think they were really adverse to answering some questions, in particular, um, how well they asked me like how much I want to make in a month, and I said this much, and they said I could tell they were not ready to hear that answer because they're like, okay, and then they wouldn't show like how much you can get for one sale. They wouldn't call it a sale. They would tell you. They told me that they're not selling. They're just presenting information, which is that's great, and I love that, and I don't want to sell people on things, but at the same time, um, you're getting a commission from a transaction, and so I would say that's a sale, even even though, yeah, you don't want to think of it as a sale. I don't want to be pushing people into anything, I guess. But technically, I believe it's a sale. Anyway, they didn't really want to hear that either. Um, and then so they told me how much you can make in like a month or something from one sale, and I was like, oh, okay. So how often do you can give me? I said give super general. You don't have to have the data. You don't have to know. Just any sort of general guess as to how often you can, like, somebody agrees to go with something that you have, some sort of plan or whatever that you have for them. They sign up and they stick with it and whatever. And there's like this pause and the kind of like, so it was with a couple, a husband and a wife, and which is a little unusual, but it was fine. They like worked together, so. And the guy was real nice and would usually try to answer things, but his wife was kind of uh, more surface nice, where she would be like, ah, ha, ha. And then when you ask something she didn't want to answer, she'd be like, this, not quite that extreme, but you could tell she she turned off of the charm a bit and turned on the sternness. So anyway, she's like, well, it varies greatly, because if you're asking somebody who's a Gen Z, who's somebody who's 20, just out of just in college, they're probably not going to need the they don't have that much money, they're not going to need this, or blah blah blah. If you're asking like an old person who is retiring or something, then they have a high chance of getting it. I'm like, yeah, obviously, duh. I'm asking the percentage of the clients that the people that you talk to, how many become clients? So a non-answer, essentially. That was the biggest red flag for me. I guess maybe the other, maybe equally as bad, was I started going through it and like, yeah, this sounds alright. I'll give it a shot. Maybe I'll like learn a little bit about talking with people and trying to present things for them, and I'll give it a shot. I can do it one day a week, they said, or whenever. And you'd even get paid for just going along with somebody on pitches, even if you didn't talk at all. So like, yeah, that's fine. But then they said, so here they had like the steps, like here you get this step, so you already did these things, that's great, and or this, and then so now we have to do we're gonna do a pitch to you. So we'll set that up for time, and I'm like, okay, so maybe I could do that. I have to talk with my wife. We could pencil in something. Maybe. And they're like, yeah, we'll pencil. Yeah. She was like real on about it, about making an appointment. And I'm like, is this like, do you have to do this to be part of the company? And she's like, we want you to know how it goes. We want you to see it and have you go through it and see what it's like for the people when you're being pitched to. I'm like, all right. And so I sort of agreed to it, and then I thought about it later, and I took in like all the information, and I'm like, I didn't want to put my wife through a pitch when I've heard plenty of people say, oh, it's just this, it's just this, it's just this. And anytime somebody's trying to get you to buy something or trying to present, however they say it, they're showing you information about something. That's it. And they might get some money if you go through with whatever they're showing you, some sort of information or plan or whatever. They're trying to sell you something. Okay? And that's fine, but just say it that way. Don't make it this it's fine. Whatever you want to do is fine with me. I'm just here to show you information. Yeah, that it can be true, but they also do want you to buy. So it's a little bit, because they get a benefit from it, they're not just presenting out of the goodness of their heart in their free time. That's what they do for fun. Nobody does that. At least I've never heard of somebody doing that. So, I mean, I would, I might do that for like my friends or something. Somebody who, people might do that for someone close to them or whatever. But just for the fun of it in your free time, I don't know. Probably not. You might do it for a while, but probably stop. Anyway, it's besides the point. Whether you know someone's intentions or not, it's human nature says that if they're going to get some benefit, they're probably going to want you to join in, And so, yeah, I mean, the thing that really ultimately caused me to leave, not go along with it, was that I didn't want to put my wife through a sales pitch. And she's a really nice person and more agreeable than I am. And so, getting into a mess of them showing something and be like, oh, this, and then my wife going, yeah, that sounds good or something, or whatever, that sounds like it might be good, and then me having to go in and go, yeah, we don't need this, we don't want this, because that's the truth. I knew all the things that they were presenting to people, something that I didn't want or need. So yeah, I mean, you could say, oh, well, you haven't heard them out, okay, but I know what life insurance is. I know what annuity. I know a decent amount about what these things are. Oh, another thing is, so I did want to get into like the details of some things, and I wanted to ask like exactly like what they were selling or what they were showing, and they didn't give me any details. Now, it is a bit weird when someone, I understand they what they told me was there's so much to know that they're still learning about things, like, which is fine, but just give me something, you know? That's what I'm asking. You ask me like if I have any questions, and I ask questions, and then you give me non-answers. That's not good. You know, I'm not gonna want to join then. If I'm showing something to someone, I want to give them all the information I have. I don't want to be like this, oh, hiding this and this and this, because that's what a salesperson does. And they claim they were not salespeople. To me, their actions and words showed that they ultimately were possibly just as bad or possibly worse than salespeople, because they have a very intricate, elongated uh, um, sort of system and plan and traps, I would say. And they themselves said that they never try to like present or sell on like the first meeting when they talk to somebody. And so it is really good way of reeling people in slowly, and it's sort of like, you know, you put a frog into water and you slowly turn up the heat, and he won't even realize that he's like boiling to death. Um, that's basically what they do. And I mean, I don't know a lot of these organizations. I just came across this one thus far, but to me, it's highly immoral. And yeah, I hope nobody watches this. If anybody watches this, will fall into that. You know, I do think there is a place in the world for salespeople, but I think you really got to be the right kind of person. I have the same belief with like parents. I think that most people shouldn't be parents. I think most people shouldn't be salespeople. I think these people have to be highly moral, and it can be very difficult to impossible for most people to handle those responsibilities, because you have such influence. Automatically, if you're a parent, and then sort of thrust upon you if you're a good salesman, you have incredible. I mean, if you watch The Wolf of Wall Street, it's the best example of like they didn't show the also The Big Short, but they didn't. The Big Short, you saw some of the fallout and the consequences of people selling, you know, trash. And the Wolf of Wall Street, you just saw him kind of his life get sort of ruined. You didn't see the actual like consequences of people losing a bunch of their, you know, savings they worked really hard their whole life to put on, and you know, people should try to take accountability as much as they can and make good decisions themselves. But some people are just not that smart, and for you to kind of sell them, get them to buy something that's not good, it doesn't mean that it's right. So, yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about that. Trying to think if there's anything else. I do think I did want to say that MLM formats type of thing, I think they can be good and can work. I know that there's a company called eXp Realty that is kind of using that sort of thing for realtors. And they seem to be doing quite well. And I think they could go on to other industries and maybe. But the thing is that like the people who are in that are really legitimate realtors, and they're not like, as far as I know, I could be wrong, they're not like screwing people over Um, they're as much as any more than the other average realtors are, any more or less or whatever. It's just that they have a certain structure where if you happen to get somebody, another legitimate realtor to join, then you get part of their commissions from then on or something. It's not like you get this like huge chunk of money from someone joining or something like that, where bad MLMs are. So yeah, and this one, I guess they said that they used to have like a price to join, and then they got rid of it, which that's good. And you know, I'm not saying I think somebody could join these and be a good salesperson in terms of just not just being completely straightforward about everything upfront and not trying to be like this long con coercive, and I shouldn't say long con, but this sort of long game coercive thing, which can turn into a sort of a con, or getting people to buy something that they don't need or want. But you can use it for good and show people who are not very financially adept how they can plan for their future. So it can be good too. But anyway, just watch out, people. I'd say the biggest red flags are people not giving you straight answers, trying to make you do something to get a job other than just joining and learning, trying to get your family in or friends. I guess like kind of framing things or deflecting. People being overly animated. Hey, how's it going? Nice. Kind of that type of thing. Again, not that that's has to be bad, but it's common that I found in MLMs, pyramid schemes. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Love you. God bless. Take care. And like, comment, and subscribe if you like this. And I'd be interested to hear other stories of people who experience MLMs and things like that. Anyway, thanks. Have a good one.